Hello and welcome to Where the Living Room Used to Be, a podcast about Rhode Island's music scene. Chance, with all of your experience, booking shows and creating everything that you've created, I'm just curious, is there a mentor or a teacher and anyone that's kind of been in your life prior to you starting that shared a piece of advice that you'd like to pass along? Was there some inspiration that you got from someone else that kind of got you moving in this direction?
Yeah, I think most of my work are inspired by my mom. My mom, Ada Boaz. She's a farmer. She's been farming since we moved to the United States.
Yeah.
But I take inspiration for her, and it's the amount of work she had done for my community. She was a teacher in a refugee camp for 40 years.
Wow.
So she taught primary school for that amount of years. PVD World Music is 3 years old or 4 years old. So I can imagine how do you keep doing something for 40 years?
Yeah.
It's God's work, man. And it doesn't pay. So
yeah.
And the community really doesn't really value teachers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're underpaid, they're overworked. But being able to do that for 40 years, it's insane.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good for. I think you need to have you need people like that in a community.
Like a role model.
Yeah. You need to get your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, down, and so for me I take a lot of inspiration from that, But she help out whenever she has time. But I have the privilege to know her and talk to her, chat with her, especially during the pandemic. I went spend time going to the farm, grow corns and beans, and it's fun. That's more like my inspiration.
Just your drive to
keep going. It's if she done it for that long, I can keep going too. It's like a path. Yeah.
But then from your own personal experience of creating a nonprofit and booking shows and even some of the challenges of bringing in artists from other countries, you also work with many, many venues here in Providence. Is there a piece of advice that you would share from that view to someone that might be interested in doing something similar? Or
I think this is kind of stuff for me, I feel like you can't be halfway there, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
If you're gonna do something, just really go for it, and people respect that because then you show your best, and be honest about it, be upfront, use email if you can, put things in writing, that comes handy. That way it's not word of mouth, you know what I mean? Because you can't really, it's just good to keep record of things. That would be my advice. But if you're gonna put together a show, just go all the way, do all the basic stuff, and just, it's a matter of time, but that's kind of what I would think, that would be my advice. If you're gonna learn, it's like when you learn an instrument, you know what I mean? Just put the time in and, practice and practice and practice, It's the same way as organizing a show. Obviously, I've been lucky enough to know so many good people in the city and work with many organizations. But in the beginning, you had to, grind. You had to grind. You had to, like the open airs Saturday. You know what I mean? They started on a street on Westminster. You know what I mean? There was no stage. There was no. It wasn't. It was you have one artist. And then next month you have another artist. Maybe a duo, maybe a solo, maybe a trio. and then maybe 3 years down the road, now you can have a stage, have 3 bands, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a while. Just do the hard work in the beginning and stay consistency and persistent, and yeah, you endure. It will work out. I'm a firm believer in like hard work and just like getting things done. But like, sure, I think for the most part, if you show a passion, that's what I meant. Like, don't go halfway and halfway there. Just go all in. Then people can see that you are passionate about what you doing, and that passion usually you transmit energy, to your energy impact other people, your views impact other people, but stay, stay grounded in the work, and things take time, but
just put one foot in front of the other.
Exactly. But also like most of stuff, like people forget that's like small steps, you know what I mean? You don't wake up and just go like run a marathon, you know what I mean? You like, okay, you go like, that was my first first mile, you know what I mean? And then like I'll do like, after 1 year, you're able to do like 20 miles a week, you know what I mean? 40 miles a week, 50 miles a week, 60 miles a week, and then you can start running a marathon. And then you have a goals, you know what I mean? Having small goals, small step, they start like that, like anything, like, pretty much. It's like reading, too. Like you start reading 1 page a night. You know what I mean? You don't just see and be like, my first book, I banged I just finished the whole Odyssey, you know what I mean? That's not how it works. You start with, I don't know, a companion theme or something, like with The Hobbit or something, you know what I mean? Something super simple and easy and witty and funnier. But over time, after 3 years of reading one page a night, that's a lot of pages, I think that the first steps, like, go forward. But if you decide to go forward, don't go halfway, don't go, halfway effort. Just pull your heart and soul and mind. It's a spiritual, at least for me,
No, I gotcha. It can take a lot to do this stuff, but just continuing it on with that stuff and being kind of guided, by what, at least from my own perspective of doing this particular project here with where the living room used to be, with just knowing what I was trying to get to, and just, it can be easy as a musician to, I played drums one time and the next day I'm going on tour around the world. And it's like, no, you gotta like pump the brakes. Just knowing what you're looking to kind of achieve with this is really important,
And I think like when you're doing things, you find mentors. Will start to show. In the beginning it might not be available because also like people haven't figured it out. Where can I help? You know what I mean? But as you start doing things, people will come and say, "Oh man, I want to be part of the committee." I see you need a flyer. I'll help you get a flyer. You know what I mean? People start coming when you're doing things. So take that first steps, go do it. But also, don't think it's easy. Like it's that whole romanticism idea of like, things being like angel, things being fine, you know what I mean? It's never like that, it's like there is swamps and there is pond and there is, but you gotta get to, the mountaintop is a mountaintop, you know what I mean? You just keep eye on a mountaintop and also pace yourself. Like people do the apparition trail. Some people can do it in like one path, you know what I mean? Some people do it every year. They will go start it from somewhere.
And they do it in stages.
They'll do it in stages. Like there's no, I don't think there's one size fit everybody. It's like really start where you're comfortable. You can start it with like we didn't start it like that. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't start it with PVD World Music doing 4 events a month. You know, we started with no space. You know, the first year, no space came out. You know what I mean? 2008, we didn't do anything in 2008. We just keep knocking. Hey man, do you have a space? Hey man, do you have a space? Hey man, do you have space? But like, it's like, who's this kid? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's you? Like, you know what I mean? And you want to bring like some crazy music to our space? Who's you? Like, what do you think you is? You know what I mean? So, but you know, and then somebody comes, I'll give you a try. Okay.
Yeah.
You do that first thing and you say, hey, you know, last month we did this one.
Yeah.
Can we do this one? You know what I mean? And then after like 6 months, you say, hey, last year we did 12 concerts.
Yeah.
You know, this year we would like to double that number, or we would like to increase by 1%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start having small goals, you know, smart goals. And,
you
know, and then you are able to accomplish more. But, you know, things, it's not, you know, someday you fall off. You're like, man, like, this kind of like, I really want to do something there, but that space might not be available today. You know, that's okay. You know, you don't just, you know, don't give up, you know, because saying like you stopped and then you have to, it's like running, you know what I mean? If you didn't do 4 mile today and you're supposed to do 4 mile, then you push your date or your race date, you know what I mean? So just being able to kind of like have those philosophy, like there is no such a thing as this the best thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that. You can have a plan and say, this, I want things to go this way, and adapt it to changes, obviously.
Yeah.
But also, you know, make sure there's swamps. You don't know the swamps. At least from being as an African person, like, you know, I don't know anybody who has like, you know what I mean? Who has started a nonprofit for arts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Like, I don't know anybody who has applied for a grant that got funded. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know, like, you know, I didn't have anybody who went to Bryant to say, hey, man, what do you do when, you know what I mean? You just hope that, you know, this is the path I'm going to take. I'll stay on course. You know, some night I might not find food, but that's fine. You know, I won't have job that pays well during school time, and you just buckle up and you just, I don't know, there's nobody to tell you what to do. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no Burundi person to tell me in my own language that, hey, this is how you do this, you know what I mean? But you rely on the community to reach out, you know, when you have a question, you know, get connected, seek out help, and make sure, if you're doing the right thing, people always want to help the right person who have the right attitude.
Yeah.
If you really want to know how to host a show, you know, like, and you passionate about it, you like 100% in it, people always, some people might not want to help, but I bet there is a million people who will love somebody.
Yeah,
like
they can tell.
Yeah.
When you're authentically trying to.
People, like, it only take 2 seconds to know that, this person is, you know, he really wants this thing to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a million people who will say no, obviously. But, you know, that's just the nature. But that's kind of like what I like to bring up. That's why I say there's no such thing as a fine, you know, way of doing things. It's just an assumption that we have, like anything else. Nothing is purely like, here's how you do it, you know. Everybody's experience is always different. But I think over time it comes with experience. Then you set up small goals and say, you know, this year I'll do 1 show, you know. So right now we have different goals, you know what I mean? Like some goals, I remember when I started, like one of my goals would be like, if I'm gonna produce this show and I see 3 young kids, you know, like kids that with like babies, like 2 years, you know, 1 year to like 4 years old. If any 4 years old showed up and see this concert, I don't really care about what else happened. Yeah, that's my victory. You know what I mean?
That's really cool.
That was my, like, you know, that's simple things. And then you start reaching out to people who have kids who you might want to invite. You know what I mean? And if they showed up, you're like, that was crazy, Victor. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, you might obviously, the coffee shop need to make money. The people need to feel like the shopping experience is elevated and the welcome and all that, But like, you have to set up your own attainable goals. Like, this year I'm gonna do. If I can have my first show, I'll go and show everybody like, this is how I do it. Like nobody else has done it. Like I will pour all my soul, my heart. It will be like South African style. It's spiritual. It's less about superficial thing. It's more about you feel it. You know what I mean? It's like that's why the language, the tonal language, like you say, you feel it. The drum, you feel it because it's also that your language. You know what I mean? It's like you are included in it. So yeah, once people feel that way, then you also channel that.
Yeah.
And the other people will also feel that way because you channeled that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really just relatable stuff, but it can be easy to forget because just human tendencies will want to move past that. But no, man, I appreciate you sharing that, Chance, and I appreciate you, sharing some of the inspiration behind doing these things and the strong people that are in your life and leading your way. So, I mean, thanks for sharing that stuff with us today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for getting me out of my comfort zone and come here and share some stuff,
Yeah.
It's always great. I love what you're doing, and so keep on going.
Everybody, vuza makembe. Vuza makembe. Vuza amakembe. It just means play ikembe. That's it, okay? Vuza makembe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Vuza makembe. Yeah, yeah. Yo, yo. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Vuza makembe mwana. Danje sininye. Danje sininye. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Nabugije mabahindi bandaba. Nakenda bana baba katangara. Katangara bakuma baritamba. Makembe. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yo, yo. Vuza makembe mwana. Vuza makembe. Yeah, yeah. Vuza makembe. Yeah, yo. Vuza makembe. Yeah, yeah. Danje sininye. Danje sininye. Vuza makembe mwana. Vuza makembe mwana. Ay, 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 ay. Danje tampapa. tanti pipipa. Yeah, fuza makembe. Yeah, fuza makembe. Yeah, fuza makembe.